If you love Among Us or just want to learn a bit about cake decorating, then this video is for you. And if you like this video, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe. Hey, you're watching Preppy Kitchen, where I, John Cannell, teach you how to make delicious homemade dishes to share with your family and friends. This cake's looking a little sus, so let's get started. To make this cake, I use my favorite vanilla cake recipe. It makes 3 6-inch layers or 2 8-inch layers. I love this cake as a 6-inch. It's the perfect size. I have a link for the recipe in the description box below. And I made a double batch of my vanilla ice cream. I made a double batch of my vanilla buttercream. The link is also below, and this is perfect for decorating, and it's really easy too. If you wanted, you could make Italian or Swiss buttercream instead. I love this cake because you don't need any special tools, and I'm gonna do some DIY stuff that you can do at home too. The first step is gonna be to divide the buttercream into several different batches so that you can color it up. When I build the cake, I'm gonna have a 2-layer frosting scheme, so rings of white and purple. So let's get about a cup for each color, white, purple, and then we're gonna save a lot for the black and the crewmates as well. To make this cake, I'm using my favorite box of colors. They're gel food colorings, and there's all these different hues, but you can use any food coloring you'd like instead. Color that frosting up, just mix it in. I have purple and white ready for my interior. Let's build the cake. Fill your piping bags up, and today I'm not going to use any piping tips. It's unnecessary for the cake, which is another reason that I love it so much. All we have to do is snip the tips off of all these different piping bags. And for the inside, we're going to snip a good amount off, so there you go. Any extra buttercream can get used later on as well, so don't worry if you're overpacking this with uncolored buttercream. To do this 2-color scheme, it's so easy. We just need to pipe rings. So start with a little dot in the center, and then we're gonna build that up. So ring 1, just around, switch colors, and go back again. I love having 2-tone color schemes on the inside of cakes because it's a total surprise when you open it up. And in this case, you know, maybe it tells you who the imposter is. And you might notice I'm using a turntable. Cake turntables make it so easy to smooth the outside because you just spin it around. If you don't have one, you don't need one, but it makes everything super easy. Pop that next layer on, make sure it's nice and straight, and repeat the process. Last layer on, and my cake is ready to cover in black buttercream. I get so many questions on how to make black buttercream because a lot of people do it at home and it comes out kind of gray. So here is the secret. 1, we're gonna use a lot of black, but 2, we're gonna use some dark blue as well. The blue will really make it like an inky black, just like the night sky is. Let's get a big batch of that in there. So I have some leftover purple from the inside. I'm actually gonna add that into this batch as well. So today I'm using black and navy blue, and it doesn't matter if there's a little bit of purple mixed in, it's totally fine. Okay, so we're gonna add some black in there. Whoa. And then we're gonna add some dark blue. Mix it up, and let's see what it looks like. Something else I should note is I'm using gel food colorings today, which are much more concentrated than the water-based food colorings you can get at the grocery store. So if you're using those, you'll be dumping a lot of food coloring in there, but if you're using the gel-based food colorings, you can use much less. I'll leave a link for the gel food colorings in the description box below if you want to pick some up yourself. One thing most of you know is that your buttercream will darken up as it dries out and is exposed to the air. So don't feel like it has to be perfectly black right now, it'll darken up. Okay, last bit of mixing. My black's all mixed up. We're gonna dump this into a piping bag and cover the cake. We're gonna cover this cake in a thin layer of the black buttercream. This is where that cake stand comes in handy. I think I'm gonna have just enough buttercream to finish this off. Ruh-roh. Well, this looks like it's not enough buttercream. I think it actually is. I'm gonna use an offset spatula to smooth the top and also take away some of the extra buttercream because I know this is the right amount. So just scrape it off as you turn. If you're doing this at home and you don't have a turntable, it's okay. This does not have to be a perfectly smooth cake. You'll be covering it with all the crewmates as well as a bunch of stars. Okay, now we're going to smooth the frosting and kind of fill in the gaps. So go up and down and you'll get like a nice thin, smooth layer because there's a lot of extra buttercream here. Brian doesn't believe me. Well, look at that. I had just enough buttercream to cover the top up. When you smooth with an offset spatula, you should always just wipe it off between swipes. That's the best practice. Okay, and now I'm gonna use a bench scraper. You use this when you make bread, but it's an excellent cake decorating tool. So just go along the side and smooth it out. And remember, it does not have to be perfect. You're covering this cake with a ton of different things to distract the eye. The last step, which you might notice, is this kind of janky corner. We're gonna fix that with our offset spatula. We're gonna turn slowly as we draw the tool in. So between each swipe, you're just gonna clean the tool and then keep going. And just like that, you have a really pretty nice, neat top. If you have any weird swoops happening at the very top, just give it a quick smooth, and that looks good to me. The one thing you have to do right away is clean the bottom off because you do not want to have a messy edge. That looks really nice. Now for the stars. I have a really easy solution, and it's white confetti sprinkles. These were special order. I had another cake I was making that I wanted to have white sprinkles for, but they're just little round white sprinkles made of fondant. All you have to do to make the stars is just sprinkle them on top and then the side too. If you don't have these sprinkles, just use little dots of white buttercream or, be imaginative. Let me know in the comments what you would use for the stars. All right, so for the side, it's a little bit more tricky. There's two ways to do it. You can, if you feel confident, you can tilt your cake a little bit and then, no, it's not working, never mind. So the other way to do it is to throw the sprinkles at the cake, which seems kind of counterintuitive, but it really works. Okay, some confidence up there, limber those joints, and now we're just gonna toss it at the cake. Some of it will stick, some of it won't. You can clean it up later. Anyhow, you're gonna end up with some constellations of stars, as I like to call them. You wanna have some more even coverage probably, so what you can do is just put a smattering of confetti sprinkles onto your palm and then gently press them on. Or just onto your thumb and press them on like that. You don't need full coverage either, just by the by, because the crewmates are gonna cover a lot of the cake, so you'll find yourself removing some of the sprinkles later on. Okay, I think I have great coverage for the stars. So right now we're on to the next step, which is to mix more batches of colors for the crewmates. While we do that, this can hang out in the fridge just so it firms up a little bit. It's not necessary, but it'll make it so much easier to draw on later, because we'll be drawing on the cake. Did I tell you that? Into the fridge. I divided my remaining batter into 5 roughly equal batches, and I'll be coloring them for the crewmates. We have orange, red, blue, yellow, and then for their face masks, I'm using stone, which is a very light gray. I also have the remaining black buttercream to outline their face masks, just to make it look extra sharp and nice. If you're wondering if I have a crewmates stencil, I don't. I'm just gonna draw one by hand. You can download pictures of them online and cut them out, but it's a very simple shape. They have like a little head, their bodies go straight down on one side, and they have a little pack. On the other side, you're gonna have their face mask sticking out just a little bit. The body goes down, the little belly, and draw the legs, and that's it. It's very, very straightforward. So cut that shape out, and then we're gonna use this as a stencil. You could have big crewmates, small crewmates, it's really whatever you'd like. So I have 2 stencils. One is for the cookie on top, and one is for the cake. I made it smaller so there's a play of scale. I think it looks nice, but you could use the same one for both. Once you have your 2 stencils, it's time for the cookie topper. So use the bigger one, place it on top of some rolled out sugar cookie dough. I'm using my favorite no spread sugar cookie recipe. And then just use a knife and trace around. And we wanna have slightly longer feet on this because it's gonna stick into the cake. Now we can cut the body out. You can do cut, 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 or you can trace around it. For its pack, we're gonna cut down halfway and cut in and just remove that out. And this way we can add the buttercream on top of both and it'll have a nice depth. I'm super pleased with this. Bake at 350 for about 10 minutes and it'll be ready to ice at the end of this into the oven. And now that that's done, let's color our buttercream up. You only need a drop to get nice and bright colors with this. Now mix those colors up. You can take a peek and see how they look. I like using a little palette knife to do this because I can just clean it off in between and it does a really good job of mixing. If I was using a whisk, that would be crazy talk. All right, last color. I love how cheerful this looks. Right now we're gonna get our cake out of the fridge and draw our crewmates on all over with our skewer. Use that stencil. I'm gonna press it on. It's gonna get ruined right away. Don't worry about that, it's just a stencil. And now you're gonna trace using a skewer or a toothpick or whatever you'd like, and just get the outline of that crewman. And you're gonna be cleaning your skewer off because it'll collect some buttercream. Remove the stencil, a little buttercream, that's fine. And then just take a look, you can draw the rest of the face mask on as a guide, but that goes on at the very end. And also one line over here. Okay, repeat that process till your cake is covered in crewmen. So this work is gonna take a little bit of time. You might as well pull a chair up and be comfy, right? Okay, my crewmen are all drawn. I'm gonna stay seated. Use your vibrant colors. After you've outlined the figure, just fill it in. Now I'm using a little palette knife and just smooth the top off. Use your knife and just clean the edges up if they look a little bit messy. And now we're gonna pipe the mask off and it's gonna make all the difference in the world. One of my key bits of advice for you is don't just focus on getting something perfectly right, just keep going, and then you can always fix things after the cake has been chilled more. As you go, you're gonna build up some depth, so you wanna add a lot of buttercream for the mask so it kind of bubbles out a bit more. I'm not gonna try and smooth it out perfectly now. That's gonna happen after it's colder. And this is much easier if you're doing it like this as opposed to doing it for the camera, just in case you're wondering. This process is the exact same one we're gonna use for the cookie topper, by the way. It's really easy. Just pop that buttercream on top, smooth the top out. Just like before, don't worry if it doesn't look perfect because we're going to fix everything after it's chilled. Now our cookie and cake go into the fridge for a quick chill and we'll be right back. Once your cake and cookie are chilled, just use your palette knife, a damp towel, or even a clean finger and smooth out any bits that look a little bit too bumpy for you. It's really kind of whatever you feel comfortable with, but now you can carve the buttercream so easily with any tool and it's not so soft that it'll just kind of melt away. Your final bit of detail work is just to use the extra black buttercream you have and trace the outline of your face mask. It'll make it really clean and pop. We're gonna pop the cake topper on top of our cake, but it'll totally fall unless we cut in. So press down and then use your knife to just cut some little rectangular pieces of buttercream out of the top. Now we can press it in and our cake is complete. Time to cut into the cake. Look at those layers. I love the stripes. If you like this video, check out my cake playlist. It's delicious too. I'll see you in the next video.